Right now, a baby is staring at you. Not blinking. Not turning away. Just fixed on your face with a focus so intense it makes full-grown adults feel a little self-conscious. Most people smile, wave, maybe make some odd sound hoping for a reaction. But developmental neuroscientists have spent the last 20 years trying to figure out exactly what is going on inside that tiny brain during those long, unblinking stares. And what they discovered doesn't just shift how you see babies, it shifts how you understand human consciousness entirely. Let's start with the easy explanation. Babies stare because their eyesight isn't great yet, and faces are simply the most visually interesting thing around them. That sounds fair. Newborns do have limited visual range, around 8 to 12 inches, which is just about the distance from your arms to your face when you're holding them. But here's what breaks that theory. By 3 months old, babies have enough visual ability to look at just about anything in the room. The ceiling. The window. The dog. The laundry piled in the corner. And they still pick your face, every single time. That is not a vision problem. That is a choice. And when researchers began looking into why, the data pointed somewhere no one had expected. In 2017, a research team at the University of Cambridge published a major study in the journal PNAS, one of the most respected scientific publications in the world. Using a method called functional near-infrared spectroscopy, they measured brain activity in both babies and adults while they interacted face-to-face. They were searching for brainwave synchronization. What they found brought the entire field to a stop. When a baby locks eyes with you, when that stare happens, their brain waves begin to match yours. The same frequencies, the same patterns, firing across two completely separate brains at the same time. The researchers tested it with an adult looking away. No sync. They tested it with a blank, neutral face. Partial sync. But real mutual eye contact, two people truly looking at each other, produced the strongest brain coupling the team had ever recorded between two people of different ages. Your baby is not simply looking at you. They are connecting their developing brain to yours. Using your neural activity as a kind of framework, a model, for building their own. That stare is how human brains teach other human brains what it means to be human. But here's where it gets even more surprising. Because babies don't stare at every face the same way. Researchers at Harvard Medical School ran a simple but revealing experiment. They showed 3-month-old babies two faces, a stranger's face and the face of their main caregiver. The babies spent more time looking at the stranger, which feels completely backwards, until you understand the reason. Cognitive scientists call it the violation of expectation response. Babies stare longer at things they haven't fully worked out yet. The stranger is new, unpredictable, still being processed. But the caregiver's face, by 3 months, a baby has already spent thousands of hours learning that face. Every expression. Every small movement. Every change in tone. When they look at you, their person, they're not puzzled. They're reading you. Researchers at the University of Washington found that by 5 months, babies can already tell the difference between a real smile and a forced one. By 6 months, they're tracking your emotional state and using it to decide how to respond to the world around them. Developmental psychologists call this social referencing. You look scared, they freeze. You look excited, they reach for the object. You seem calm, they explore freely. That long, unblinking stare is data collection. Your baby is building a live emotional map of your face and using it to figure out what's safe and what isn't. You are not just their parent. You are their nervous system's external hard drive. Now I need to tell you about an experiment that was considered so unsettling it sparked years of ethical debate inside developmental psychology. It's called the still face paradigm. Designed in 1975 by Dr. Edward Tronick at Harvard. The setup is straightforward. A mother interacts with her baby naturally, smiling, talking, responding. The baby is content, engaged, watching her face with complete attention. Then, on cue, the mother goes completely blank. Still face, no expression, no reaction. Eyes open but nothing showing through them. What unfolds in the 2 minutes that follow is one of the most analyzed sequences of behavior in all of developmental psychology. The baby notices immediately. They try to get her back. Big smiles, pointing, making sounds, everything that normally works. Nothing. They push harder. Bigger gestures, more urgent noises. Still nothing. Within 90 seconds, most babies begin showing physical signs of stress. Cortisol rises. Heart rate goes up. Some cry. Others go quiet themselves, pulling inward into an emotional shutdown that mirrors the mother's blankness. When the mother reconnects, recovery is fast, but not instant. Here is what Dr. Tronick concluded after 2 decades of running this study. Babies are not passive receivers of care. They are active partners in an ongoing emotional conversation. And that conversation happens almost entirely through the face. The stare is not admiration. It is not confusion. It is communication at its most basic level. Your baby is speaking to you through their eyes, and they need you to answer. There's one final layer to this that almost never comes up outside academic circles, and it has to do with what babies are actually constructing during all that staring, beyond emotional attunement. Researchers in MIT's Brain and Cognitive Sciences department have spent years studying how infants process visual information, and they've uncovered something that changes everything we thought we understood about how intelligence grows. Babies who experience more back-and-forth face-to-face interaction in their first 6 months, where their signals get noticed and responded to, show measurably stronger development in the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain that handles planning, decision-making, emotional control, and complex social behavior. The entire foundation of how an adult thinks. Being looked at and looking back is literally constructing the hardware that will power your child's mind for the rest of their life. Every time you hold their gaze, every time you mirror what you see in their face, every time you respond to what's in their eyes, you are not just connecting. You are building. So now I have to share the warning, because there is one. If you notice a baby who doesn't stare, who consistently avoids eye contact, who doesn't track your face, who seems to look past you rather than at you, that is not a personality quirk. Reduced or absent gaze behavior in infancy is one of the earliest observable signs researchers link to atypical social development. It doesn't mean something is wrong. Every baby develops on their own schedule. But pediatric neuroscientists are direct about this. Early identification changes outcomes. The brain's plasticity in the first 2 years of life will never be that high again. Stepping in at 6 months produces results that stepping in at 2 years simply cannot replicate. So if something about the stare, or the absence of it, feels off to you, trust that feeling. You are probably the most finely tuned instrument in the world when it comes to reading your own child's face. You've been doing it since the very first hour they were born. So the next time a baby catches your eyes from across the room and just holds that stare, remember what's really happening. Their brain is reaching toward yours. They are using your face to figure out how to be a person. How to feel. How to understand what's safe and what isn't. How to exist in a world made entirely of other people. 50,000 years of human evolution didn't give babies those wide, round, impossible to ignore eyes by chance. Those eyes are the most advanced social tool ever built. And when one locks onto yours, the only right thing to do is look right back. If this shifted the way you see the babies around you, subscribe to this channel and leave a comment below. I want to know, was there a moment when a baby's stare stopped you in your tracks? Because if there was, now you know exactly what was happening. And if you want to understand why babies laugh at nothing, at empty corners, at 3 in the morning, at something only they can see, that's what the next video is about. And the science behind it is stranger than anything you've already heard.